global cement business from Mexico originally. But anyway, I've got these teams of drivers, and if you know anything about drivers, they're solitary people. They work on their own all day. It must be monotonous. They tend to be not very pleasant when they come back at night generally. I know because I've had hundreds and hundreds working for me. And I believe because they're solitary beings, they're on their own, it's not very good. People need interaction. So I went to my boss and I went, right, I've got an idea. I know I've got to think of a way how we can get these guys more engaged, enjoying their jobs more, reduce accidents, increase productivity. And he went, well, what do you think of doing? And I says, well, I'm gonna make 10 teams of 10 drivers. He went, what you are? I said, I'm going to make 10 teams of 10 drivers, and I'm going to league table. I'm not going to beat up the worst performers. I'm just going to try and get, then we can isolate the Pareto principle, 80-20 rule. There'll be 2 teams of drivers who are causing most of the problems. Let's have a look why. Let's give them more training, development. Let's not beat them up, but let's do it from a positive. What the good teams doing to the bad teams who went, you're not doing that, stupid. Never happened. Why would we do that with drivers? Anyway, 6 months later, that business that I was working for lost that contract, and I remained in that business. I worked for that business. So guess what I did? I made 10 teams of 10 drivers. Within 6 months, they rolled it across the UK, and all the drivers were in driver teams. League tabled them, and we just focused on the worst 2 teams, but not from a penalising them, from a how do we improve you? What do we need to do? We had lead drivers. They're going, why would anyone want to be a lead driver? What are you going to pay them? Nothing. So we had drivers in charge of teams that wasn't getting any extra benefit, but they were guys that wanted to improve the operation. They were passionate, because most people go to work, they don't go to work to just clock in and clock off. Most people go to work and they want to contribute. So afford them the opportunity. So anyway, that's an example of my brain working and going, actually, this works over here. Why don't we put it over here where it's totally alien, and let's see what happens? And you know what? If it didn't work, we'd just stop doing it. Nothing was going to happen. You know what I mean?
Well, exactly. You change things. If it doesn't have the desired effect, you don't have to keep it that way forever. Exactly.
On to something else. And that... Yeah, and there's lots of people like that around the place that should be the same sort of thing.
Yeah. No, I love that. I love that example. That's as you say, it really does show the different mindset coming in, the different way of looking at these things. In a few moments, I'd like us to explore a slightly different angle with regards to dyslexia. So in a couple of moments, we're going to sort of start to look at somebody who perhaps they're at school or they've left school, but they're still having this whole, oh, you're stupid, you're rubbish, blah, 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 the sort of stuff that a lot of schools tell people, because the schools are not able to help people with dyslexia. So in a moment or two, we're going to take a look at how somebody in that situation can change things around for themselves and develop the confidence and self-belief in them. Just before we do that, I would like to ask you, Kirk, what your favorite song is, and there's a reason for this. What's your favorite song, Kirk?
My favorite song is by the Shapeshifters, and it's called Lola's Theme. That's it's got a lot of meaning to me.
Lola's Theme by the Shapeshifters. Now, I have pressed a button on this computer here, and it should be playing Lola's Theme at the moment. It's doing absolutely nothing. Let's see what happens if I press it again. It's not. It's not playing it at all. I was hoping we could play Lola's Theme while we talk about it a little. Unfortunately, technology is not my friend today. Can you sing us or hum us a little bit of Lola's Theme?
I could have actually played it, because I have it as my walk-on music when I go do public speaking. I've got it on my computer actually.
That's all right. Perhaps when we do the replay of this, we might be able to fix that and get it playing in the background. But either way, tell me. So what you said, there's a lot of meaning to it. Why is that song so important to you? What does it mean to you?
Well, some of the lyrics are I was lost and I needed a guide, and I met my wife in Holland in around 1999, and at that time, I'd just gone through a messy divorce. I was over there working out of the way. I was very low. I had I was probably also almost on self-destruct in a strange country. I didn't care about life really. I was just, and I was a bit lost. I needed a guide, and she came along, and that's what the song's about. Turn my life around. So, yeah.
Wow. So I can certainly see why that's such a powerful song.
Get it played. But yeah,
I wish I could. But, technology. You wouldn't believe I used to work in IT, would you? I can't operate a computer.
It doesn't matter if you're in IT, does it? If the computers want to work, they won't want to work. So it's
exactly.
But that's the reason behind it. And now I started doing some more public speaking. I use it as my walk-on music, and then I refer to that in the talk that I do, which is about myself, about people, expanding what they're doing, the circle of influence, and I go into detail about all that, and then I talk about dyslexia, and then at one point I do talk about that and the reason behind the walk-on music. So I have actually got it here.
Oh well. Sorry, I'm just thinking there's no way I can get it played again. Anyway, sorry about that. But
I can play here because I've got my mixer plugged in.
Oh well, if you can give us a really, really quick blast of it, let's see if this works.
Let's see if mine works.
Yeah, go for it.
I'll wait till he sings on.
Walking around in disguise. I was just a lost soul, I needed a guide. And the moment that you came to change my life.
How's that, Keith?
Nice.
Still
nice, yeah. That's
Keith? Oh, hang on, let me stop it.
Yeah.
It's all right.
Cool.
I turned my PC down so I couldn't hear you. I could hear myself, and I turned the music down. Anyway, so I'm having technical issues. But,
Lola's theme, and when you're speaking, it's Kirk's theme.
Yeah, there you go. So that's the bit. Just that first bit, and if you listen to it, I love it. And if I'm in the car, sometimes I have that blasted. So
Nice.
Yeah.
Alrighty. So, in a moment, we're going to talk about things that people with dyslexia can do to help them re-establish their confidence. And then there's a couple really quick thing we're going to talk about, because you do an interesting thing called pants interviews, and you've got a great YouTube channel. So we'll talk about those in a couple of moments. So I've been speaking with Kirk Pickstone, who is the International Dyslexic Superhero. We've been talking about how entrepreneurs really do seem to be predisposed towards, dyslexics really do seem to be predisposed towards entrepreneurialism. We explored what dyslexia is. It's pretty much, if I've got this right, Kirk, it's pretty much just the way that the brain is wired up a little differently, processes things in a slightly different way. So instead of everything being rigid and segregated and separated into its own chambers and aisles and rows, the dyslexic brain is better able to make connections between lots of seemingly random things and create beautiful order out of what might seem chaos to others. And it's that sort of flow and level of flexibility which really gives people with dyslexia quite an advantage, especially in the creative side and in entrepreneurial side of things. We had a look at so many famous people out there, successful people out there who have dyslexia: Steve Jobs, Richard Branson, chefs James Martin, Jamie Oliver, Walt Disney. I guess I'll look at Fantasia in a completely different way now. I'm sure there must be some hints and clues in there. Churchill, a great leader of the UK in the time of our greatest trouble. dyslexic. Robbie Williams, fantastic singer. Lots of people have it. So if somebody is listening to this who they may be thinking, well, yeah, it's great for all those people, but, you know, I'm at school and teachers just don't get it. They just keep telling me I'm stupid, telling me I'm thick, I'm never going to amount to anything. Or perhaps somebody who's had that through school, they've left school and they're still thinking, no, I'm stupid, I can't get anywhere. How can they get around that? Because I'm thinking of, I'll share part of the story of somebody who's a really, really good friend of mine. They have dyslexia. When they were at school, the teachers told them, you're stupid, you're worthless, you're stupid, you're rubbish, you'll never amount to anything. When I met them, they had a job as a cashier at a checkout clerk at a supermarket. They thought that was as far as they could ever go. Yeah. I worked with them, helped them with their confidence, helped them to build confidence in themselves. They took some tentative steps into further learning, found they were actually a lot cleverer than the teachers had said. To cut a long story short, too late. To cut a long story short, they are now a fully qualified chartered accountant. They are financial director for a UK branch of a multinational company.
Yes.
So how can somebody who's in that kind of situation, how can they go about gaining the confidence and the belief in themselves to be able to unleash their full potential?
Well, you hit the nail on the head there. I believe there's people try to teach people how to read and write, teachers and other people. There's other people try to retrain people's brains because there's systems out there to sort of rewire your brain you can do. And my whole focus is none of those. Mine's all about confidence, which you're playing. So for me, it's about building that confidence and finding someone to give you the confidence, because they've had this lifetime of self-doubt and other people telling them that their confidence levels will be on the floor, and all the time the brain's going, don't do that because you can't do it. So for me, you need to find someone who's going to build your confidence. Either that's an external person like a professional like yourself, or go and find a mentor. It doesn't have to be someone that you actually pay or anything. It can be just someone who you know, like, and trust. That's, you know, I say not your family. Don't your family are great, but don't go to your family and go to someone else. Yeah. Because your family love you too much for you to make a mistake, and they will always tell, don't do that, you can't do that, and pull you back. And that's, I love my family, but they will. Yeah. So you need to find someone to build your confidence and your mentor. And what I'm trying to get through to people, and hopefully this answers your question, language, we need language. I'm not saying don't get educated, but the world's moving into a different way where language is becoming less relevant in some respects because everything's more visual, video. I could probably send you a message in a minute which would just be icons, and you'd read it. So, you know, I could spell words and you'd wrong and you'd still know what I was saying, but we have the grammar police who kick off because it's not spelled right.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, it's realizing someone needs to talk to these people, and that's what I'm trying to do. I want to get it out as much as I can. These people, you'll get to a level and you won't go past that level, or you might have incremental improvements. Stop wasting your time on it and focus on the things that you love doing and you know you're good at. So, for example, that could be someone that has a passion for... So I say for families, if you've got a kid, if your child is, say, good at drama, yeah, don't sweat too much about the academic stuff. Yes, try and give them support and try and get to a certain level, but they might not get it. Focus their energy on the drama. Do you know what I mean? Because once they leave school and leave education, they could either get a job and become the next Jennifer Aniston, for example, or they could be on the stage, or they might not even go that. Not everyone can get to the highest levels. They might actually just set a business up, as an example, teaching other kids how to be dancers. Yeah. So my advice is get a mentor, build your confidence. You are as good as everybody else. It's just everybody else is telling you you're not, and yourself telling you. So have some self-belief, but sometimes that needs to come from someone else. Yeah, needs to come from an external force like yourself.